Greetings, scientists. Today on Merry Meeples, we are looking at the Fox experiment from Pandasaurus Games. This is going to be the Kickstarter edition, but they do have a sheet that will show you what the differences are. Here is your design team. Flip this over, and let's show you the rest of the design team. There we go. Alright, breed foxes for the best traits. In 1958, Dmitry Belayev, and I'm not going to do those names. Basically, you're going to be breeding your domesticated foxes over the course of the game, 5 rounds, rolling dice to do certain traits on those foxes. Alright, so this is 1, 2, 4 players, 60 minutes, 14 and up. First thing we have is this really cool piece of art. And then here is the difference in the Kickstarter edition. Upgraded premium components from the standard core set of the game. Even though you have upgraded components, all the other game components and rules still show the standard version of the components. This visual directory should help. So we have upgraded dice. They're all marbly and cool looking. The standard player marker is just this regular cog. We have metal ones. Standard, upgraded. Standard are these regular meeples, which you'll see we still have in there because I like the way they look, so we went ahead and got those anyways. And then these screen printed ones. Upgraded trait tokens, upgraded friendly tokens, the round markers, and then there's more art. Alright, so we have the rule book, and this rule book is hefty looking, but it actually walks you through really nice and easy. It's just there's a lot of examples in here, which is always nice. So there's the introduction. Here's all your components. So here they show you all the standard components, your contents. Here's the game setup, the player setup. Here's kind of explaining the board layout, the overview, so then the phase 1 selection and how you do the selection phase, and then the breeding phase. So see, they kind of give you a brief overview here, and then they go into here, they show you the phases, and then they go into the phases. So it looks hefty, but it's because they went really in depth on it. See, that's all an example. Here's all this, phase 3 research, the example on that page as well. And then here's more of the research with all the examples. Then administration, how to do the next generations, scoring studies for multiple pups, like this whole page here is an example. Game end and scoring, so it's all laid out by the red player and blue player and how they score. Here's the 2-player mode, going on with all the 2-player rules. Here's the solo mode, and then end of the solo mode, notes and credits, play testers, the appendix for the science cards, and the patrons, and then turn summary on the back. Alright, we have 4 player boards. You have the different player colors on the back. So these show that when you select the parents, they're going to go to the left of your board. Over here is where your fox pup goes. These you start with unlocked, and then you'll unlock these throughout the game. And this is by discarding 2 trait tokens, which you'll see here in a minute, that are the same. And you can unlock these as they go. This is how many pups you can breed. This is study cards, and this is friendly dice. So as you go across here, you unlock more dice. You unlock more studies you can do. Unlock the ability to do more pups. And then this is patrons that are on the side of the board that give you end of game scoring. So as you see, as you go over, they start costing more. And these ones with the star is just points. The little star is points in the game. So you also have the different player colors there as well. So those are the player boards. Here is the main game board. It's got 2 sides. This is up to 4 players. And this side is for 5 and 6 players. So this has some things. So this is where supplies are going to be. And that is going to end up setting up turn order. You're going to use your little gear to choose supplies up here. This is where the studies deck is. This is where the science deck is. Your patrons are going to be off to the side here. This is where some certain supply tokens are going to be for them, that when you choose to go there, you'll get those supplies. this with the little fox showing on it is where you'll put your foxes if you choose to do that patron. This is the friendly track. So whoever has the friendliest pup after breeding them would put their fox here. And then anyone who doesn't will get this bonus. 5 rounds, because the game's 5 rounds, and you keep getting the stuff underneath. So that is the game board. Alright, next up you have the turn order tokens, first, second, third, fourth. And again, the upgraded ones are this nice thick acrylic. These are the point tokens. Again, acrylic. Let's show these dice. So friendly dice, and then these each have a trait they're associated with. I just can't currently recollect them, but you can see the nice marbling, and they have all these different sides. You're going to basically be rolling these and then trying to match up full symbols. So this is 1 symbol, and this is 1.5. Halves don't count unless you match them up. And that's where the friendly dice come in. The friendly dice kind of are wilds and can be used with anything. So that is all the dice. Alright, let's get going with the tokens. So these are friendly tokens. These work just like the friendly dice, except they're only halves. So you can use those to help fill out dice, or even put 2 of them together to be anything. So then we have the trait tokens. You'll see them on here. So that looks like that's the tail. Then we have spots, I believe. And bark, and then ears. Yep, that looks like the ears, the floppy ears. So those are your trait tokens you're going to get by filling out the cards, which I'll go over when we get to the cards. All of these are those supply tokens I said you'll be putting your gear on. They'll be face up, and you'll be getting those items. So there is a bunch of these that you'll be getting stacks of. And a few more right there. So all those supply tokens. You get 4 dry erase markers because the pups you'll be making are dry erase. So here's that extra bag. So this is the actual 60 wooden fox meeples, 10 per color. So here's all those. So this is enough to play the 6-player version. Then here are those metal gears. These have some good heft and weight to them, and really vibrant. And then we have the foxes. As you see with the print on them, and a couple different shapes. And each color has a different one. And one more. Alright, now let's get into these cards. So first we'll start with all of these cards. So this is going to be your studies. And then your AI studies that you're going to use for the 2-player or the solo. And then you have your patrons. So here's your patrons. So it's an A side. So it looks like 1 point per tail token maybe. And then there's a B side for something else. So here are your different patrons. Let's flip them over and look at the B side. This one was a promo one that we got as well. Alrighty, now we're going to get into the AI's study card. So this shows traits that it prioritizes. So when it selects the foxes, it's going to prioritize those, and that's all you worry about in a 2-player game. When you get into the solo game, it actually is going to start doing the studies along with it. But in a 2-player, you only care about what the first and second trait is. So that is their study cards. Next up is the regular study card. So these are what you're going to be breeding foxes for in general. When you're breeding them, you're going to be looking for a fox that has these specific traits. So a square and a dot crossed off and a square. And then you'll put a fox there. And then if you get a fox that has this, you'll move it over, eventually getting the most points for it. So that is what all of these are. Different combinations, different assortments, like such. Alright, next up we have science cards. And the solo AI cards, which are also used again in the two-player game. So let me explain these really quick, then we'll go to the science cards. So on these, it shows what it's going to be drafting. A male or a female and a supply. And you're going to have this deck face down like this with the arrow, and then you're going to flip up one face up, and then it's going to draft these things. And then it's going to, if there's a tie, that's the way it's going to go. Or if it's going for the supply, it's going to start from the right and work its way left. So that is how the solo deck works. Like I said, this is a two-player, and a two-player you set up for a four-player game, and you use this to draft two things. Alright, let's look at these science cards. Come on. When scoring studies, you may assign one pup to 2 study levels. So these basically kind of change the rules of the game. So an assortment of these as well. And you can get these through those supply tokens and from with the patrons, because they'll have supply tokens there as well. And there's the science cards. Alright, let me explain the player wolves really quick. Each player will have the same set. It's in their color. And this is the scorecard at the end. So we'll grab purple because it's up. So this shows its gender and your player color behind it. And then when you roll the traits, for every full trait you get, you're going to cross off starting left to right. Every square you cross off will give this one a die when it gets placed in the center. When you draft it, you'll get dice for every square that's filled in. For every dot that's filled in is how you get these trait tokens. And then after you do all that, you give it its name. And then you give it a happiness score for each filled in section. And as you saw on that board, whoever has the most friendliness gets those points. So again, these are all the same. The only difference will be the pictures. As you can see, they're going to probably match their player pieces like such. Let me get all this out of the way and zoom in, and then we'll go over the Fox parent cards. Alright, so here is the Fox parents. You'll see they have a name, they have a gender, and they have a die on it. So the name is kind of just flavor text. You are going to need one of each gender for breeding purposes. And then if it's got that, when you do the breeding phase, you're going to grab one of those dice and use that in your rolling. So let me go ahead and show you the rest of the Fox cards. Alright, so those are all the Fox cards. As you saw, some have 1, some have 2, some have 3. I am pretty sure, too, the names on all of these are probably the ones from the actual study. It seems like a lot of care did go into this game to really reproduce that. And then you also get 4 player aids. So that was the Fox Experiment Kickstarter edition. Hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you on the next one.